Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with the session number 3, that is ICT tools, smartphones, and tablets. You guys are just going to love this topic. This is very easy. So, first of all, we are starting with the layout of our mobile, and we know that first is the earpiece. Earpiece is the one from where we are getting the voice. So, it is a kind of an output device, and this one here, it is a microphone from where we speak. So it is a kind of an input device. This is a power button over the right side from where we start and shut down our mobile phones. On the left there is a volume button. Somehow on the some devices these are on the left side, but on the few devices they are on the right side, so you can find it on the either side. Here is the touch screen, right, from where you give the command. So it is a kind of input device because we touch and our system respond to our touch. So it's an input device. Here in the middle of there's a home button right here. Now what does home button do? It brings you back to the home screen. Wherever you are, it will just let you back to your home screen. Here it's a menu button. With the menu button, like it will show you all your application, everything you have installed on your phone. It's a back button over the right side. Back button is just to let you go back one page. Here is on the right side, the description is given as I already explained. You can just go through this. Now, basic features of a mobile device. If we are having a mobile device, what are the basic features we are getting with this? First one is the Bluetooth. We all know Bluetooth is a wireless technology that help us to share our messages, songs with each other, right? Next is the chargeable battery. We are getting the chargeable battery. Third one is the Wi-Fi. Now Wi-Fi is a wireless network. Wireless network means it is a technology that is connecting wireless. Wi-Fi full form is wireless fidelity. With the fidelity, we mean our device is feasible to connect with any kind of devices. That means it is a technology that can connect with any of the devices, whether it is a mobile phone, whether it's tablet, whether it's computer, any technology, right? Next is the touch screen. So the display we are getting with our phone, it's a touch screen that help you to give the inputs to our phone. Next we are getting is the mobile. Oh, camera. Sorry. Yeah, camera. So camera, front and back camera is there to click your pictures and videos. Clock is there to set your time according to your country. Cellular network connectivity, that means it helps you to connect or make the calls. GPS is there. GPS stands for global positioning system, that help you to navigate or get the direction through the maps, the Google Maps we are using, that take the help of GPS system to locate yourself. Next is the home screen of a mobile device. This is our home screen of our mobile device. First is the status bar. Now, what does status bar means? Here it is status bar. See, you will have a network signal here. See, then your connectivity, internet connectivity, your timings are there, and then your battery. So these all is your status bar. This part of the screen is known as your main screen, right? Where you will have the icons of your application. These are known as the icons. Here it is showing that there are two pages. So the number of pages depends upon the application you are having. The area in the bottom lower part of the screen is known as dock. Now this area remains the constant. Whenever you switch on to the pages, wherever you swipe left or right, this area will remain constant still. Basically, we put our application in the dock, those application which are we are using consistently or frequently. So we keep those application over the dock area. Now we are going to study about the gestures. What are the gestures we are going to use while using our mobile phone? First gesture is tap. Like you tap on your application, you touch to your application. Now that is known as tap. Next is tap and hold. You guys must remember that when we have to shift our application from one place to another, or we have to delete our application, so what we do, we just tap on our application and just hold it on for a few seconds. Then it shows your uninstall, delete of options. So this is the tap and hold. Drag, when you are moving your application, you tap and hold first, and then you drag your application to some other place and drop it down. So that feature is known as drag. Swipe is when we you must remember, we see our pictures and then we swipe right and left. So this is known as swiping. Double tap, when we have to zoom in, increase the size of the picture, we double tap on that picture. Now what is pinch in? As you see on the left side, we use our thumb and our index finger to pinch in, that means to zoom in for that, and pinch out to zoom out. So this was our session number 3, very easy one. Now we are going for the session number 4, that is parts of a computer and peripherals. First, we are going to see a computer system. A computer system is a programmable machine designed to store and retrieve information and perform arithmetic logical operation to produce meaningful result in the desired format. So first of all, it is a programmable machine. That means it is a machine that has some coding that store the information and retrieve the information. Now, our computer is made up of 3 units, that is input, processing and output unit. What is the input, processing and output unit? See, input unit is your keyboard, mouse. Processing unit is the CPU, and output unit is your monitor screen or printer. So what do you mean by IPO cycle? First of all, we provide input to our computer system, and then CPU do the processing. As we know, we call CPU as the brain of the computer, and then the CPU will perform some processing and the monitor will display it. So this is the IPO cycle: input, processing and output. Now coming that our CPU is divided into 3 main subparts. Now what are those subparts? First one, the CPU is divided into control unit. See, the first one is the control unit. Now what does control unit do? Control unit act as a receptionist and a manager of a company. It receives each and every instruction from user and coordinates between different parts to perform various operations. Let me give you an example. Suppose we are providing our computer different commands at the same time. Like I am giving computer to open Microsoft Word. On the same time, I'm asking my computer to open MS Excel. So what I'm doing, I'm giving it a frequent command. So there should be a manager who is looking for a computer to what command should be operated first and then what command should be operated next. So there is a unit known as control unit that will look into this matter, that will control and manages our computer, our commands. Next is arithmetic and logical unit. Now what does ALU do? ALU, arithmetic and logical unit, act as an accountant of a company which performs all the mathematical and logical calculations and the, yeah, from here. Now what does ALU do? ALU do all the arithmetic, that means all the mathematical operations, and logical unit stands for greater than, less than, equals to, not equals to. These kinds of operation will be performed by ALU unit. First one was the control unit, second one is the ALU, that means all the mathematical and the logical operations will be performed by ALU. Next is the memory unit. So can you guess now what will memory unit will do? Yeah, with the word memory, it stands for, it is something related to the memory of the computer. So the memory unit act as a temporary store of a company where small amount of data is stored while other operations are being performed. So everything that is stored in our computer system, where it is have to be stored, and when we are deleting something from our computer system, the memory it get free from there. So managing all the things about the memory is the task of the memory unit. Coming to the input devices. See, I have already explained earlier input devices. Input devices is used to enter the information into the computer. So any device that help us to give command to the computer is known as the input device, like keyboard, microphone, our cameras, scanner, all are the input devices. Output devices. Output devices bring information from the computer to the user. So what kind of output devices we are having? The first one is the monitor, right? And the any guesses for the second one? Yes, printer is the second one. Projector. Here is the list of the peripheral devices. Now what are the peripheral devices? Peripheral devices, the all the input and output devices are known as the peripheral devices. That means except your processing unit is your CPU, except that all the other devices are the peripheral devices. Keyboard, mouse, microphone, projector, monitor, speakers, scanners, printer, all are your peripheral devices. Here comes the barcode scanning. Yes, when we go for shopping, we see this barcode scanner over there. It is also a peripheral device. What does this device do? This barcode reader reads the barcode or scan those barcode. What does barcode contain? Barcode contains some coding of that item, like item description, price, what kind of item it is, when it is brought. All these information is contained in that barcode, and barcode reader reads that information. So barcode reader is an input device or an output device? Barcode reader is an input device because we are scanning that information and providing it in the computer system. Next topic is RAM and ROM. Now what is RAM and ROM? Here it is giving an example of a kitchen. Let us go through it. If you are a cook, what would you keep on the kitchen counter and what you should store away in the kitchen shelves? Well, all the things you need immediately and regularly will be on the counter, and the things that you do not access often will be in the shelves. So random access memory is like a kitchen counter, because everything we are needing immediately, it is on the RAM. Like RAM is a temporary storage, so everything we need quickly, and we get it access like very frequently, so it is stored on the RAM memory. Now coming to the ROM is read only memory. It is like the software that we are installing on our computer system, it is installed on the ROM. ROM stands for read only memory. What do you mean by read only memory? That means you can only read that memory, you can only run that softwares, you can't edit that softwares. Edit means we can't write again. Like if I correct myself, or if I go or get into the depth of it, write means we can write it, but only those people can write it who have a technical background. So those people can edit the softwares who have the technical background with that. My question is, we have already know about an example, like if we have opened the Microsoft Word and I didn't save that document, and my system get power cut, so I am definitely pretty much sure that I won't be getting that document again or retrieve that information. So that time the document was on the RAM memory, because we are frequently using that. But my question here is, um, did did your software get lost, like a Microsoft Word get lost? You have lost the document, but did you lost your Microsoft Word software? The answer is no. So why it's a no? Because the document was stored in a RAM, but that was a temporary memory. But your software has been stored on a ROM, that is read only memory. So RAM data get lost, but ROM data didn't get lost. Here with this, I come again with another question, that is, okay, fine, I have stored a document now. Now the power is cut. I can retrieve that document because I have saved that document. Again, I open that document and I'm able to edit that document. But we have studied RAM and ROM. RAM said it is a temporary memory. ROM said it is a read-only memory. You can't write on it. That means you can't edit that. But I am able to edit my Word document. So where is the Word document file is getting stored? So here is a third type of memory, that is the flash memory. It is a mix of both RAM and ROM. With this, I'm leaving homework for you guys. Yeah, table number 3.5, you have to study by your own the types of memory storage devices, that is RAM, ROM and flash memory. You have to read all the table, right? So I hope you understand this topic. We will continue with this in the next video.